Let's call the meeting to order. Board agenda. We have approval of the agenda. Actually, I think it should be the agenda for today, not the September 25th one, but today's agenda.
And move we approve today's agenda,
All right.
October 23rd.
Do we have a second?
So.
All those in favor?
Okay.
Okay. Okay, we have any public members? No, not that I see. So let's jump into the budget.
The budget time is here. We have to submit the budget to the city through their software Tuesday. And so here is our budget, and I just pulled out a few things that we were asking for a little bit more money on. One is sanitation supplies. We go through quite a bit of that. We did ask for an increase, a one-time increase in funds for furnishings. We would like to replace the tables and chairs in meeting room D if you were, which are actually relatively new, considering the building, but a lot of them are broken, and we're not even using the chairs that we originally purchased for that space because of the damage that's been done to them. They weren't helped. They didn't hold up to the use. So we'd like to buy some more sturdy equipment there. Miscellaneous processing supplies is not an increase. We're just asking to move over RFID tags into that line. Originally, it was listed as a capital expense because we bought 300,000 of them for our project, and then it just stayed in there and just doesn't make sense to keep it there. Consulting, we're asking for an increase to just for someone to help research and do some public this outreach with the public for our new strategic plan. And then some increases and a major increase in the building repair and maintenance because we are overspending that line all of the time. And I don't want that to eat into other parts of the operating budget. If we have to replace major parts of the HVAC system or the boiler, it means we're not doing something else. And especially when the city, I am very happy that the CIP project stayed on. I sat in the meeting watching, there was several projects just fall off, but they're right now holding at 2030 that we would place all the HVAC units. It just means that if there's there might need to be a major repair, and then that needs to come out of the operating budget.
And this could be a substantial expense.
A substantial expense. They're also replacing HVAC units on City Hall in 2030, so I think that's what they were thinking, is if they combine those projects, we might be able to get a better deal, or maybe the equipment used at the same time.
Cross our fingers.
Yep.
Try to make it then.
I'm happy to answer any questions. The next step will be we submit it in the software, and then we meet with the city manager's office to discuss what we were asking for.
I actually wondered if the library materials increase was adequate with all the changes going on in the market.
Yeah, I played around with that number a little bit. The reason why I didn't ask for more than what I had put in here was I think we can now negotiate a little bit more with other vendors because we're spending more with those. The more you buy, the better the discounts. The second thing was the digital materials line is coming down a little bit in our expenditures because we have changed the way that we repurchase. So a lot of the money that we were spending on digital materials in the last couple of years, we're just repurchasing of ebooks and audiobooks we already own. We have to buy a lot of our collection every 2 years to keep them, and we kind of up the ante of how much you have to circ to stay in the collection, mainly because we want to be able to order new things. And if we're repurchasing everything, we're unable to keep more current collection. We're also playing around with different models of if there's cost per circ through Overdrive. If someone does a purchase suggestion, rather than buying $100, $120 audiobook, we might just say, okay, for the next 2 weeks, it's available.
Mhm.
and you can do the cost per circ. So that's saving some
Ah.
money there too. So we're experimenting. And
Questions or comments? Because this is something I'll have to take action on tonight.
Yeah, not directly with the budget, I have been very curious with how, we're able to lower the cost for digital materials a little bit. And yeah, it's an area I'm vaguely aware of. But yeah, so for another time, if we could have
we would love to
kind
do
of
that.
a run through on how the licensing
Mhm.
works and the different options, yeah, I'd be very interested.
Do you want it only on digital or do you want it on collections overall?
I guess overall, but
It could be a session.
yeah,
Could be a
specifically
training.
digital is probably where, yeah, less familiar.
We could break it up. We could do physical,
Mhm.
but we'll start with the digital because they're very involved.
Yeah.
Further questions? There are no other questions or comments? Do we have a motion to approve the budget?
Can make a motion to approve the budget.
I'll second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstentions, all right. Boy, that's the fastest budget discussion we've ever. A quarter financials and stats.
As we do in every quarter, went through what looks like we've overspent or what looks like we've underspent and an explanation of those. One thing that's been interesting about the Baker and Taylor disruption is that when we look at the materials added report, we're over 1,000 items behind where we normally are and what we're adding to the collection. And although it didn't make it, so the materials line is only 22% spent, we would really like that to be closer to the higher end of the 20s, almost 30% at this point, or this quarter of the year. A lot of our digital databases are spent at the beginning of the year, so when you put that in there and you look at, then you add with the books where we are with kind of the physical materials, we're really, really behind. But we will catch up very quickly.
Does that really affect your pre-orders? Cause like there's so many, like James Patterson puts out, however many books he puts out in a year, 10, whatever, like is that? Are you, I guess I don't know exactly what the question is here, but I'm just wondering, like, do you usually see in advance? That line item isn't sold until they're actually here,
Yeah, we don't pay
right? So
for it
it's
till
not
it's here.
like pre-orders affect your actual budget line.
Right.
But you're assuming that they are coming out, cause I know like November's a big. October, November are big publishing months, so in April, so I'm just wondering.
Yeah, I hope we can have this all figured out by April, so
Yeah,
that's just a normal
yeah.
thing, but yeah, we have just stacks and stacks of multiple copies coming in now of James Patterson. We have one on Fiction Cataloger's desk right now.
I would
But-
imagine.
Yeah.
I know
Yeah.
about that.
Things people have been waiting for a while.
Are you getting any increase in the public about this waiting list?
No.
I was thinking it might be a marketing opportunity, so.
I think what's been interesting is we did the story for IPR.
Right.
Iowa Public Radio. We did one with the Gazette and KCRG. And they all found out about it from reading from our website. So we've been posting, we had a blog post explaining the issue. We put it on social media. And if they're seeing it there, I'm hoping our patrons are seeing that there too. And
All right. Anything else about the stats that people want to dig into more?
I did have a question about our output report cover sheet. Is there measurements that you're interested in seeing or for us to highlight? We kind of pick things out, but if there's a way that, Yeah, if you want that differently, like this is supposed to be for you, so what works well for you, we want to make sure that we're filling your needs.
And people understand what she's speaking of.
Yeah.
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 I appreciate the format. I like that quick at a glance. I mean, I appreciate that. It's real fun to compare. And I'm curious about catalog access when you guys switch to your new system, how it will look in comparison. Just out of personal curiosity.
We can just keep putting that one there for you.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just interested, but
What was the one she recommended?
oh, that just when the new catalog access, how it changes when you switch to your new MLS. Can you do a program attendance one?
Mhm.
And it could be like a broad program attendance. It doesn't have to be like children's versus young adult versus. It's really broad.
Number right now.
Children's have flown all along.
I do, because I had to figure it out for something today, so.
Make it all animal.
1,200, about 1,200 programs and 49,000.
Amazing, amazing. But are you have 42, 42,000 registered registered card holders, borrowers, like 49,000 children attending an event? That's a growing, growing clientele that you have.
I can't find it again to ask about it, but I know somewhere in here, there's a report on circulation by community. And one of the lines was the schools and it was 0. And I was wondering if that's loans to these schools or that's loans to kids with the AIM cards.
It's loans to the schools themselves,
Okay.
yeah. And then there should be, the AIM card is. It's an output report.
I couldn't find it. So.
It's an output.
Maybe on page 51.
You want-
Administered by early systems.
Oh, yes. It's at the bottom of page 51.
And the numbers are kind of low, but.
It's fluctuate.
Yeah. Oh, I think.
The new ID cards go out at a certain time of the year.
Mhm.
So that's when you have
More.
librarians advertising the program a little more so. Some people do a better job of that than I do, per se, but.
Really try and push that we are a library when the school is not in session.
Yeah,
That was set up at the beginning of
Yeah.
the program, that we were not to replace the school libraries.
yeah, there's a little bit of iffiness with the legal side of it. So some of us have backed up just a tiny bit on like our big promotion that we used to do, just because it's a little bit on the edge of legal. So,
It's an opt-in card.
So, it's an opt-in card, but, it's picture day is coming and then the new ID cards roll out, so it might change throughout the year.
Any other questions? Thanks, I know it takes a lot of work to put that all together. Appreciate it. All right, I think we're on to the director's report. We are just moving along.
Answer any questions. I want to thank everyone who came to the event last night. It was a nice event. Thank you. And we're working through, just to talk a little bit about the carpeting, about how involved it's going to be. We're working through what's kind of like a phasing document of where the carpet is gonna go. And where it's gonna go when, and then the things that are in that portion where they're gonna go, and they have it detailed by the individual chairs of where they can put things in. But we're really kind of working through that document to make sure what services are we offering, what disruptions there'll be so that we can communicate really well with the public when that's happening.
And it mentioned to me one of her goals was to keep the library open while this is going on, which I commend because it'd be nice to have operations continue. I know this would be disruptive, but.
And one of the things that, I mean, I hate bringing up COVID, but one of the things that during COVID, we learned to be a lot more nimble and be able to be okay with offering certain services in a specific way. And I think we can kind of dust off those skills a little bit.
So we will hear from the company at this meeting next month.
Yep,
All
they'll go through the carpet selection, what is kind of like a mapping of where it's going to be carpet tiles, different colors and how those will look, and then the phases of what to expect and what the timeline is.
Start to finish, do you have a rough idea of how long it will take?
Like 140 days.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
140 workdays.
Starting in April, ending in September.
oh, that's tricky for you guys.
Very, very, very tricky.
Yeah.
And as I talked about, part of it is that the CIP project was slated for this year and the funding, and I want to make sure that we capture it. You can roll over a project, but you really should have it started, and that's the earliest we can start.
Mhm.
And the architects are they're trying to work as quickly as possible.
Mhm. All
And
that
so,
summer reading, are you just gonna fence off a section of the Penn Mall out there? I mean, see if the city will support you on that, just outdoor public library for your summer reading kickoffs and things. Yes.
Talked with Parks and Rec for our Big Thursday programs, partnered with them. Talking to Latasha at the senior center to use some of their rooms, because the majority of their phasing, it does, start in the children's room in June.
Yeah,
So
I imagine that's a high traffic area, so you would want
we're
to
gonna,
attack that section.
in their plans, the architects, and they'll talk to you more about that too, but they do recognize that it is the children's and the library in general, busiest times. So we plan to utilize meeting room A, B, and C a lot. So you may hear from the public, we went ahead as soon as we had found this out and blocked out the meeting rooms. They will just be used for the library. At one point, we're gonna move the computers in there. Another point, we'll move the children's room in their staff. Kind of be the children's room, but it won't be our programming normal space, so we will not have the program numbers. That 49,000.
Right,
Much
no.
different, I think for years
Right.
to come, we'll have like an asterisk by it that'll say. Yeah.
free carpet.
I mean, their bid then includes them moving the shelves, because that's a whole thing too.
Yes, the
They-
RFP will
they will
be
move
all
the
about the
shelves.
shelves. Yeah.
Okay,
And they can't adjust the order that they're doing it in to protect the children's room in the summer.
They said that they had ran different modules a couple different times, and this was the best and the least disruptive.
For them.
And the fastest, if you want to get it
fastest.
Yeah.
fastest to complete it, this is the way to do
Yes,
it.
there was a whole point during the meeting where everyone said they saw my soul leave my body. But it's fine, we're gonna have beautiful carpet afterwards,
Yeah.
But the
it's
summer is the
fabulous.
summer. Yeah.
We will be very nimble. We're reaching out to different people. We will be outside as we can be. We have the bookmobile. We're already doing stories in the park with the bookmobile.
We've talked to some community partners too about their facilities and maybe bringing library services there. So I think this might actually be an opportunity to work with people in the community, be out and about.
The
And-
theme this summer is plant a seed, so gardening, which can't really do inside, outside, it'll be fine. It'll be okay.
Very lucky
It
that
is gonna be okay. It's just gonna be different.
we're very lucky that Meeting Room A was just recently recarpeted with the hearing loop installation, and so we can use Meeting Room A, move things in and out, and have that available to us at all times.
Could you talk a little bit about the September 29th?
Yeah, we had about 35 people come to the session. And we heard a variety of things that people are looking at. I think the architect showed some concepts, concepts of expanding the children's room into the merge space. They showed a concept of a third floor event space. And I think there's a lot of discussions surrounding those specific concepts. I think one thing after sitting in that meeting, and I went to a session at the Iowa Library Association that Cedar Rapids put on. They're building a new branch on the west side, and they talked about how they received community feedback. They went to community groups throughout the city and engaged them there rather than doing it at the library. And they did multiple sessions. They did sessions in a variety of languages and talked to people why they don't use the library. And I thought maybe I wanted to take a little bit of a step back and talk to the architects a little bit about 35 people in Meeting Room A, talking about some concepts that we have decided that we thought were priorities. Maybe taking a couple step back and see what the community needs. So I think I'm gonna kind of start doing a little bit more envisioning of that next month, now that the budget is submitted and now that we submitted the state report this week too. And that will give us some time to rethink what we want to do.
How much did you follow the process for the new pool at City Park?
Yeah,
There's some things we could do that are.
right. Yeah, I think maybe talking to Parks and Rec about that too. That's what actually Cedar Rapids did. They went to their Parks Department and talked about how they did their process. They have a master plan in place that they've been using for, I would say, over a decade. And I think maybe utilizing their skills and how they get out in the community. I think the communications department at the city also has invested heavily in neighborhood associations and working with different neighborhoods. I think that would be a valuable asset to us as well. So I'm rethinking, going back to the drawing board a little bit about it.
I think it's a great idea.
It's really good.
Yeah. You know, the resources and the timeline are going to be the big challenges, but I think it's really good to get that kind of input.
Yeah.
First.
And one thing I talked to the architect too about is I wanted to look at the building plan too. It could that be a long-term project but we could be able to do in phases. So if we want to focus, if the children's room becomes a priority, then we can focus on that and then work on towards another part. So when we're thinking of the building, give us some goalposts that we can work towards too.
Just for the new members, are you familiar with that relationship with Merge? How that came up in that discussion
Building.
that we have responsibility for? Do you want to briefly explain
Yeah.
why it's in the discussion?
So the merge space, so when the library was built, there was a bond issue that came up to build a library building. And that's what the bond issue was around. And when they took out the bond, the library decided that part of it, to save some money, that they would not take up that whole block. So that would be the merge space. And they would use that space as a rental space. And they would use the money, the income that they receive through the rent to pay off the bond. The bond has been paid off. And we had coffee shops in there. We had Wedge Pizza was in there for a little while. And the whole hope at the time of building the building was once the bond was paid off, then we could start working towards getting money to move into that space. And so that has always been the plan. And then we're at that point, we're at that 20-year mark, or around, they were thinking 25 to 30 years where we would start moving into that space, so at least in the original documentation. And when we were the landlord for the Wedge or for the restaurants, we managed the income for the rent. The city manager's office now has taken over the control of renting out that space to merge. And I think it might be a good time to talk about a memorandum of understanding between the Board of Trustees and the city manager's office surrounding how leases are determined, the length of those leases, and making sure that we're in on the conversation for when the rent is, or when those leases are renewed.
And we carry some responsibility as the landlord still for the maintenance.
Yes,
The emergency response on that facility, even though it's outside of our mission.
Yeah, our facility staff oversee that, the maintenance of that rental space.
So who's getting the payments right now that the bond is paid off?
The city.
Okay. Good to know.
Any other questions on the director's report? I think it was a history to share.
Oh, yeah, no, it's a good,
Understand our
yeah,
facility, yeah.
thank you for asking about that, because I've been wanting to talk about a memorandum for understanding what I'm understanding.
Departmental reports for the children's services.
Hopefully you guys are here on Tuesday. John, you just stumbled into it.
We heard it was busy.
It's really a delightful.
Yeah, that's great.
Kids in their outfits.
I know, it's a 3 days, so.
A little bit of pandemonium, you know,
Just a little.
but so much fun.
Yeah.
Kids really had fun with it.
Do we have a final count for how many?
We were estimating around 500. We know that, and I did take several pictures, not everyone could fit into the meeting room space. We had people in the hallway and outside the meeting rooms, B and C, trying to see in to do the story time. And a lot of people just gave up and went and did the trick or treating. So I know we went through 100 pounds of candy.
How many ounces per child?
Yeah.
Or parent.
And there I was running like totes. I had like big Rubbermaid totes that had all of our extra candy and was just like dumping it. So. Yeah.
You are popular.
Well, thank you to your
Yeah.
department and the entire staff. 'Cause I know it.
Yeah, it was
The village.
library wide.
Exactly.
I really do thank all the departments that came together to create a cart and then to be out there. I know it's outside of a lot of their realms to entertain that many kids all at once. Plus the city departments that came over, the police department, fire department, Parks and Rec, Climate Action, Green AmeriCorps, and then a new one that joined us this year, and theirs was absolute a delight, was Neighborhood and Development Services. They did a Hansel and Gretel house that the city engineers engineered the roof. They had a certificate of occupancy and like all their agreements, so it was up to code. It was like people could move into it if they wanted to, so I loved it. I loved how people got into it, so I really do appreciate it. It makes for a great time.
Great, looks like you got the trick chair.
Let's see.
So that's the one that
Watch out, we move it around.
All right, collection services. How are we doing with finding a new collection services?
Oh, yes, we got applications, I think we got them on Tuesday. And so we're
Great.
kind of working through them. It looks like we've several great candidates.
Looks like a nice
Good.
pool.
Mhm.
Great. That's good to hear that you want to do 2 jobs.
I know, I'm excited, so. I feel like between getting a new integrated library system and changing all of our vendors, they really have an opportunity to make the job their own.
That's a nice bit.
Way to put it.
So we've been discussing this a little bit in the beginning. I know not everyone was here about the Baker and Taylor effect.
Yes, so I am happy to report that we have moved all of our orders over to our secondary vendor, which is Ingram. And we're looking to identify other vendors so that we are not reliant on just a single one. And but every other library in the United States seems to be doing that, so but we're happy to see books coming in through Ingram, and we'll get them added to the shelf.
With this change in vendor and then also back with the carpeting, do we have increased labor costs that we should be anticipating for this year? Because we're taking on more of the task and the carpeting is going to involve more labor from the staff. Are they just absorbing it into their positions?
Just absorbing it at this point, yeah.
It's just both between these 2 things, so a lot of work to be done.
And we've been talking as a staff of just, we're gonna get what we can get done when we can get it done and just work methodically through it, and hopefully we'll get the processing set up and but yeah, just being really upfront with patrons that we're doing the best that we can with the situation that we're working with. And it was great to have as much press as we did so that people are hearing that message, yeah.
IT?
I actually have one other
Okay,
question.
I'm sorry.
So I did notice the former vendor was a state library vendor, right?
Mhm.
And I know as the state has been kind of drawing back from providing some of these services, there have been more cooperative agreements between local governments to try to get better rates and things like that. Has the library thought about going together with some of the other Johnson County libraries or some other large libraries in the state to try to?
Yeah, I think we'll talk about it. The next public library is a Johnson County meeting. It's been a discussion, at least in the email group,
Okay.
what everybody's doing. And our next urban public library, when we do the agenda, I will ask what they're doing.
Okay.
I did contact the state library. They have no plans to do an RFP.
Yeah, that was.
Yep.
What I was talking about.
Yeah.
All right, IT. If everyone's ready, have questions. Okay. Questions about the IT report?
Just wondering, do you get requests for DVDs? Watch DVD players, DVDs? Yeah. Jason?
Oh, we
Do you get
have,
much?
external. I guess, yes, is what
Yes,
consider that.
okay.
We have some players that you can check out, but they don't last very long at all. Or you check out Amazon kind of
Yeah,
purchases
yeah.
anymore. We've been pushing more and more people to just using the public PCs because there's unlimited time on those already. Without the optical drive built in, Don has bought an external drives, so they can just plug in through the USB on and those be part of the process. If you bring a DVD up to the page station, they'll unlock it, take the thing out, and put it in the drive. But we haven't yet played with it.
Just
We
curious.
still have half and half out there, so most people would sort of gravitate to those ones.
Yeah, the ones that they want, yeah.
People, but it's really like the new PCs, because they're so fast.
I was gonna say, that's a big upgrade since 2015. Just wondering too, because I haven't seen a computer with an optical drive in a long time, so
Those were
just curious about that.
We do have a couple of regular patrons that burn DVDs for of their own music.
Okay.
And so they've used, they're familiar with the USB versions.
Sure.
In fact, one actually brought it, so they're using ours.
Other questions? Well, we miss your puns, don't you? Usually there's puns or something embedded in the reports. Or maybe I. Falcon. Did we get a chance to go through all of Katie's remarks?
Longer than usual with the legislative update.
All right.
I just did want to make one note. If you have not in the past received fundraising appeals from the foundation, it probably means that I don't have your address. And if you were interested in seeing how we handle mid-year and year-end fundraising, if you supply me with your address, I'll make sure that you get a letter in the mail. As a board member of other organizations, I always just make sure that I'm on those appeal lists so that I can see who's able. So.
Great. I have very little for the president's report, just a couple quick things. December 12th is the in-service date, and if you're a new member, you may not know what that's about. I don't know if you want to mention it, but it helps for me at least to get things on my calendar months in advance. So do you want to mention the role that you'd like the trustees to take in the in-service day?
Yeah, in service day, we do a couple things. The first part of the morning is to celebrate employees who are, they've gotten to certain milestones. So we have some, in 5 years, we have 30. Is it 30, 25 years? 35, yeah, we have, so kind of, you get to meet those employees and learn about what they've been doing at the library. And then we do professional development. And do you want to talk about the schedule a little bit this year?
Yes.
What we do know? We have the architects coming.
The architects.
And they're gonna do, talk
we
to the staff about the building.
Then they're gonna do some focus groups within each of our departments and kind of take what we've heard from the public and kind of make sure that everyone's on the same track about what we're wanting to do with this building and the future of the library. Make sure that we're on the right track. So I think we're gonna spend about 2 hours. Did we have an hour? Two. And then we have someone from the University of Iowa coming to speak on.
Well, they were from the school of social work, and I think they were talking
Of
about.
de-escalation, I missed the last meeting, sorry guys. De-escalation and kind of resiliency among the staff. And we have another social worker coming.
What was that? The leadership was the maybe the one thing.
Oh,
From Tippy.
Tippy, yeah, is doing leadership where you can lead from any position within the library that you're empowered to do. You know,
Voicing your power during times of change or something like that. It was about communicating when there's a lot of change happening. Sorry, the document finally just opened. Listen, you're listening.
Such is the putting of an agenda.
I'm going like this.
Yeah, there's a committee, they're on the committee.
Well, I had no idea that I was gonna bring this up.
Yeah.
I just think if you're a new member, like you don't have to commit the whole day.
Right.
But you come in, you meet the staff, you're supportive of their celebration. And then I think some of the sessions have been highly relevant to the trustees, but it kind of depends on.
There'll also be one on intellectual.
I say it's
On intellectual
freedom
advocacy.
and understand.
So, if you can consider being here for part of the day or, I think it's a great environment and also I gives the staff a chance to know who you are because generally we disperse in the room and you get to meet staff that you may not have a chance to see because here you see mainly the coordinators.
In about 2 weeks, I'll send an invitation and you guys
Yeah.
can sign up to come. let us know that you're gonna be there and
We tried to tailor the in-service day to things that we want the
The
staff to
12th,
learn
December
about
12th is a
and
Friday.
tie it to the strategic plan, and so you'll get an idea of,
And we're closed.
and we're closed that day.
do you get lunch
Yeah, I usually get coffee in the morning too.
and coffee? Do build your own burrito. I do know that for breakfast.
The other thing I wanted to remind everyone is that the Lost Boat is coming up on November 4th, and we had the presentation on how that will be used in the community. But it's coming soon. So that's all I have in my report. Foundation updates. From the foundation members, we had Joseph was.
Let Katie take it away.
Sure, I think most of what, I have to report for this month is in my report, but
Okay.
just want you to know that, of course, we're doing our due diligence, have our 990 in motion. And there's a lot of action happening, within our finance committee. We just continue to want to really dial in, the way our financial reports are presented, the way that we understand, the way that money moves in and out of the organization. And I think it's particularly important that we're doing that work right now because as we start to think about future planning, we really need to be able to understand how to sustain the operations of the foundation, perhaps invest in even additional staffing if needed for any kind of campaign that might come down the road. And marketing and all, all those additional expenses that might come along with that kind of work. And within our governance committee, we are looking at a few different policies that are important to the operations of the foundation. We're going to be revisiting our investment policy just to recertify that. I don't think there'll be any huge material changes. And then we're still working on looking at our records retention and making sure that that is up to date on an annual basis, that we're just revisiting that. So those are kind of the big buckets for us right now.
Katie, we won't meet again before the book gala at Prairie Lights. Do you want to tell the new members what that is?
Sure. The book gala is a very casual and fun fundraising event. People who are used to going to it usually keep their lists of books that they're hoping to buy for the holidays handy. You come to Prairie Lights, do a little bit of shopping, usually have a few refreshments, and I stand at the door and I greet everyone and thank them for coming and supporting the library. And it usually makes anywhere between $800 and $1,200, depending on kind of attendance. And it's just a nice little fundraising event for us. And then our big event after that, even bigger, is our Arts and Crafts Bazaar happening in December. So if you know any crafters, know anybody who is a maker of some kind, we're soliciting donations now for that. And if you've gone through our volunteer background check policy, we would love to welcome you as a volunteer at that event too. It's a great way to talk to the folks who come through that want to support the library.
And I want to say the book gala attendees are mostly the library community. So the store is not formally open that night. They're not turning anyone away, but it's mostly the library folks, library community there. Folks meaning donors, volunteers, larger people. So you get to steal ideas what they're reading. Advocacy updates.
Go ahead, Kelsey, I read it and it's fabulous, but I didn't make any changes.
Okay. So a lot has happened with the whole situation. Sure, many of you have seen this in the papers already, or wherever you get your news, but the Des Moines folks hired the prison labor to move the materials from Iowa City to Des Moines. The first day they were there, it was raining some. And so there were a lot of concerns expressed about how that would affect the materials. A lawsuit has been filed, basically saying that state law requires this location to exist, not the specific building, but a location for research in Iowa City, which it does. It's right there in
Mhm.
plain language in the statute. Last I heard, there had not been a ruling on the restraining order that they were seeking to keep the materials that are currently here. So it is a fast moving situation. We've put together a statement. It is in draft form and probably not ready for prime time just yet. So that will be available to approve at our next meeting though. So, a lot of concerning developments. I'm hopeful that the lawsuit is going to kick off some changes, so.
When do you think you'll hear something about the loss of whether the activity will be frozen? Because this seemed to happen rather spontaneously from the news reports. It just showed up one morning.
Well, I mean, it can't have been that spontaneous because they had to get a contract in place, but
But
it was-
spontaneous in terms of the community seeing.
yes, I don't know much more about it than what's been in the paper, so, we'll see what happens with the lawsuit. I would think there's gotta be a ruling on that soon. Usually when you're seeking
Yeah.
a restraining order, it's a yes or no in a pretty short order, but I haven't seen anything yet.
It seems like it's been a couple weeks.
It has, which surprises me.
Mm.
But I don't litigate. That's
Yeah, I'm
not
just-
my,
No, it's just like, right, it's just.
I put together businesses, this, that.
Don't dismantle them.
Because isn't it kind of the other end of that?
Your statement is gonna be kind of a, a recap of the conditions and just a quick, like, we stand with statements already out there, the lawsuit, the city's statement, like
Right.
it's kind of a statement of solidarity for the general, just.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else on that? All right, we had a series of news articles in the packet, communications, comments. You are, Feeler, you seem to be interviewed often. Getting your face out there. No comments, okay. Can we approve the minutes of the September 25th meeting? This would be the whole consent agenda, actually. We approve the consent agenda. Any questions about it? So then we will need a motion to approve it.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, right. All those in favor?
I,
Opposed? Okay. The disbursements, we need to approve the disbursements. If people get a chance to look those over. Oh, it's by the consent, okay. So we can move this into one step after the approval, so we're good. The agenda for next month, we have got, the carpet discussion scheduled. We have got, a recommendation from the bylaws working group. Is it have to be ready?
Oh, yeah,
So,
it's at the legal right now.
yeah, I think maybe we should see it before it goes to legal review going forward.
It's already gone.
Yeah, but I'm just saying going forward because we're gonna end up using the city's legal department twice. Because it's not something that the board has approved. So I think in the beginning, in process wise, in the future, if the working groups would come back to the board before they go to the city, it would be a smoother process.
You'll have to retrieve them then from the city.
No, I'm just saying going forward, for anytime we're putting something together and we're gonna use city staff time, it might be better that we send what the board wants to have sent rather than just the working group, so we don't have to use their time twice. Just as an efficiency issue.
Guess the other issue is if you approve them, they could go to legal and legal could.
They could turn them back to us, but I feel like
Okay.
we, this way legal is seeing them and we don't even know what they say, and yet we're asking legal to review them. The board hasn't seen them, so there's an awkwardness to that. I don't know what others think about this process.
Yeah, I'd be fine, reviewing it with the board first. I think either way, you have the option of, approving and then needing to reapprove.
I just want to,
without legal.
I want to be respectful of the city's legal department too, so.
You have to claw them back then because they've been sent there.
Yeah, I know, well, I know, I'm saying in the
Next-
future,
next
with
time.
future, we're not gonna, with this one, we're gonna continue the process that's begun. But I think in the future, if we needed to have city staff, pay city staff, look at something. Let's make sure we're as near completion as we can before we ask their opinion,
Hmm.
just so that we're economical about it.
Our bylaws annual, is that something we do
No.
every year?
Every 3 years,
Every
unless
3
there's a reason why we need to bring. it
Okay,
back.
so.
And part of this-
I mean, in
yeah.
3 years, we,
Well, part of this
be a
is
couple-
because
we
there's
could
been
have a
some state
different group.
changes, right? And part of this is there's been some changes in the state's recommendations or requirements of us.
so we'll have to.
And it's really the only policy that you kind of work with,
Right.
remember the
Right.
staff, is the one that brings recommendations for the other policies, so
Yeah.
we can just write
I'm
up
just
a
wondering,
process.
like-
Well, I just think in the future, I wanna be respectful of the city's
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
You know?
So I wanna make sure we remember that in 3 years.
Yeah,
That we
we'll
talked
make a-
about this,
Well,
cause
right.
I definitely will
We'll put it
not
in the
remember
minutes.
that either.
Actually, it's been there twice already, or once already.
To the city.
It went there where, I don't know why or how, but a person in the legal department sent back a lot of, some suggestions for changes. Mostly having to do with the use of shall and will. 25
I bet that.
shalls are gone from the document. It may have to go to the Supreme Court.
We're only amused because you're such a stickler on that.
I'll have to make a note that about our process though for years. to
Well,
come,
yeah.
for
let's
years.
finish the process and then review it, because now that I'm hearing that it's gone twice to them.
Well,
I'm trying to think
the-
of efficiency models, like, I don't know.
Before Corey and
Yeah.
I even thought about, even dreamed of looking at it, it was sent over there, and I don't know
Oh.
how. For somebody looked at it and, one
Was
of the
this for-
lawyers there looked at it, and mostly the changes were shall and will. There were a few others, but those were the major ones.
They are important words.
The bylaws have been on the calendar for, and I think
Yeah.
they went to legal originally because there was some state law interpretations in closed meetings, and so that was work that was done prior.
They were already there.
They were already there.
They requested before we even
Yeah.
started reviewing.
Yeah.
We are in unusual times.
So we wanted that information for you while
You're
you
right.
reviewed the.
I forgot about the state one, the city need to do it because of the
Yeah.
state changes before this. Okay. So we will be in suspense until next month on that. And then we are looking at the collection development policy.
So, if we're gonna get a, presentation explanation about how the collection process works with the digital and the physical materials, would we wanna do that before we're looking at the policy?
Well, so the policy cedes purchasing to the collection services department or services staff. And that's not gonna change. If you want that, we could move the collection development policy, where it's ready to go. But we're happy to.
Well, I mean, I
Okay.
haven't looked at what we have already, so
No.
I'm asking you, does it make sense, or is it?
I wouldn't think it would. I don't think it would have any bearing on how the digital collections are purchased, the policy itself. The policy is just a set of guidelines of overview of what we purchase rather than individual price points or how those collections are specifically managed. But and I was thinking the digital materials presentation would happen mostly more in December, January. Just because of the fullness of the November meeting already with the carpeting discussion, and then we'll have the advocacy statement we'll have to add to the agenda as well. But we can, that's up to you when you guys want to review the policy.
We also will be bringing in a new collections coordinator, so there's another variable in this.
I think that maybe you're thinking the collection development policy itself is a pretty big picture,
Yeah.
Okay,
so.
Yeah, the policy sets up, the main discussions that we'll talk about is reconsideration, whether or not an item is reconsidered. and then, artificial intelligence and impacts of that on the collection.
It might give us a good foundation of knowledge as we continue the discussion over the few months. So would people prefer to put it off, or should we keep it on for next month and see how it works out
Let's see, I think, sounds like we can keep it.
going forward?
And it's a good time to review it as we go into legislative session.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which means we're also here from the advocacy committee. It's fine. Or working group. So that's our agenda for November. Do we have a motion to adjourn? Are there any announcements from members? Any announcements? Okay, do we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
We have a second? Okay, all those in favor? Opposed? Signatures.